In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
Lexie Hull looked like she was about to vanish from the WNBA conversation entirely when the 2024 season tipped off. Remember, this was a 6th overall pick in 2022, a player who once lifted trophies at Stanford and carried herself like a future cornerstone. Yet under former coach Christy Sides, she was collecting splinters instead of minutes. Relegated to the end of...
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of everything.
Came the earthquake. Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-generation talent, whose arrival didn't just adjust the Fever's lineup, it rewrote the entire identity of the franchise. Her game was electricity and sneakers, and she didn't just score. She pulled gravity. The second Clark walked into Indiana, the offense had purpose, the chemistry had fire, and every player...
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in...
Paul recently opened up in interviews with She's for Sports and the Dunker spot, and she did not mince words. She peeled back the curtain on what actually changed in that locker room, how Clark's presence flipped her career arc, and what it says about the Fever's transformation from a stumbling mess to one of the most compelling stories in basketball. This isn't just about one player's revival.
She's been called the clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie Hull.
The early months of 2024 were brutal for
Hull.
For all her college accolades and draft pedigree, she couldn't even crack the regular rotation. Katie Lou, Samuelson, Christy Wallace, players with half her ceiling were eating her minutes, while Hull sat with a towel draped across her shoulders. At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So, trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work, so that when I did get the minutes out on the court that I could take full advantage of them. So, I was just...
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
Really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the course. That sting was real. From star at Stanford to bench warmer in Indiana,
we were just sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that.
Meanwhile, the team itself was spiraling. The Fever stumbled to a 1-8 record out of the gate, a start so depressing it had fans in Indianapolis begging for answers. And
part of my role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the momentum.
Those answers weren't coming. Headlines were filled with sharp criticisms, poor rotations, leaky defense, zero chemistry. Everyone in the locker room felt the pressure, and Hull, stuck on the sideline, had to fight her own doubts while the entire ship looked like it was sinking.
What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah.
But Hull refused to let the narrative close in on her. She doubled down on the grind, sharpening her cutting, ironing out her jumper, and staying ready for whatever scraps of opportunity she could
Grab.
And through it all, she leaned on the encouragement of her teammates, players who still believed in her potential, even when this.
And I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play with them.
Stat sheets.
Didn't.
That belief became fuel. What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston? I mean, they make my job really easy.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, it's been awesome.
Right? It's pretty, it's awesome, and it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah. They're so impressive. Then Clark arrived, and everything
Changed.
the moment Caitlin stepped into that locker room. It was as if the lights came back on, practices had juice. Again, fans were flooding arenas, and suddenly Indiana wasn't a punchline. It was the hottest.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile.
Clark brought that edge, that relentless drive to compete, and she made sure everyone else matched it. And I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then, it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding you.
She sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, if I miss, she's definitely going to say, you got the next one. I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
Know those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun. And I feel really lucky to get to play with them. As Hull herself put it with a laugh, we play against guys in practice. And if they're not winning, Caitlin's going to do everything she can to make sure they're competing. That's not just energy, that's transformation. I definitely got passes and tried to finish,